Okay, today I'm going to show you how to work with clay, how to wedge, how to make a slab, and how to put it into your mold to make a face. So first off, if you have any jewelry on your fingers or on a bracelet or a watch, you probably want to take those off. Put them in a safe spot. Putting them in my pocket. My personal pocket. Don't put them in your apron, because if you put them in your apron, you might forget they're in there, and then you've got to go through all the aprons to try and find it. Alright, so supplies you need. First thing you need is a cloth, which is right here in the middle. I'm going to get a piece of cloth. Then, other supplies you need: 4 rulers, which are up here, or 4 boards, long boards. Make sure they're about the same thing, because you're going to need the equal thickness. So don't mix both the boards and the rulers. Make sure they're all boards or they're all rulers. And then you'll need a rolling pin, which is up here. Please be careful when you grab rolling pins, either from here to here, because they are rolling pins. They will roll down. They are the most secure, so be careful, please. I'm going to grab 2 to show you kind of how that works. And then you need some clay. So untwist the twist tie on the clay. Pull the plastic bag down. Here's your wire cutter. And you're just going to cut a piece that is big enough for your slab. So it's about 1 inch thick of clay, and I cut it all the way across. And then I'm going to close the bag back up. So I'm going to twist it a little bit, take the twist tie, and make sure I twist it just enough so that it'll stay shut. I don't want that clay to dry out. Okay. Alright, so I have my piece of clay. This is a pretty big cloth, so I'm going to fold this in half. You can see it's been well used, so I'm going to shake off some of that clay into the trash can. Okay, first step when you get a new piece of clay is to wedge it. Wedging gets rid of the air pockets. That way, because you don't want any air pockets in your clay. So if you end up with any air pockets, then when it goes to be fired in the kiln, it will explode, because the air has nowhere to go. So you got to make sure you have no air pockets. So I'm going to fold this over. And now I'm going to kind of roll it on itself just a little bit. What I'm trying to make is a spiral. Use the cleaner side of this. I'm picking up some of those dried up pieces of clay that I don't want in there. So I'm just rolling it over on itself just a little bit. And you can see it's starting to make a spiral here in the center. Now I'm going to go the other way. And again, it's making a spiral the other way. So that will get rid of your air pockets. fix this again. It's going to drive me nuts having that hole in there. Okay, so now I'm going to lay it down in the middle here of my cloth. I'm going to take the palm of my hands and kind of squish it down a little bit. I don't want to go completely down though because I don't want to get it too thin. But I need it thin enough that I can roll it out with a rolling pin. Okay, now I'm going to take my rulers, and I'm going to stack them so that the numbers face the same direction away from the clay. So I'm going to put that on this side of the clay. I'm going to take these two, so the numbers are now on the right, on my right, and they go on this side, away from the clay. So the numbers are away from the clay. Get a close-up of that. You can see the numbers are facing away from the clay. Alright, so I'm going to start with the smaller rolling pin, and you need to make sure that the rolling pin is going to hit the top of the rulers. And you're going to have to use some of your muscle, some of your body weight, some of you, to get this piece of clay to move. And I roll it out until it hits the top of those rulers and won't go anymore. Alright, so I have it pretty level to the top stack of the rulers. Now, I'm going to turn this slab, so I just turn the cloth. I don't have to turn the whole slab. Now I'm going to go down to one ruler on each side. Again, my numbers are facing out away from the clay. And now, this rolling pin is too small. It only touches the clay, it doesn't touch the rulers. So I have to go to this larger rolling pin. I only have a couple of these larger rolling pins, so please share them. And if there's any dried up clay on the rolling pin, it's going to leave indentions in your slab. So please make sure it's clean. You can always grab a damp paper towel to wipe it down with. Make sure it's only damp and not soaking wet. Okay. Now I'm just going to roll it out with this rolling pin till I hit my rulers. So a slab is a flat piece of clay, even thickness. You don't want it too thin in any one specific area. Always make sure your rolling pin is touching the rulers. If you don't have it lined up with your rulers, you're going to get an uneven thickness of slab, and then it won't dry right. It'll dry uneven and probably crack. Almost there. Notice I keep moving the rulers to make sure I'm lining up on the rulers, because again, I don't want too thin of a piece. If I can still see a line where the clay is moving, then it's not even yet. And I'll show you what I mean by a line. See right here, there's this line where I left off with the rolling pin. That means that clay can still move. You want to make sure the clay stays on the cloth though, because if it comes off the cloth it's going to stick to the table and then you're not going to be able to get it back up. Okay, even thickness of clay. Now I'm going to remove my rulers. Now I'm going to go get a piece of wax, sorry, not wax, plastic film. I have some on the shelf over there. Comes in this big box like this. So you're going to take a piece big enough to cover most of your clay, hopefully all of it, rip it off, and lay that piece of wax of plastic wrap on your piece of clay. So I've got it covered, except for a little bit over here on the edges, but it'll be close enough. I'm going to use this mask for my mold today. I also have these blue ones if you want to use it, but I'm going to use this one. So I'm going to lay it because I want to get all these facial features nicely in there. I want to get the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. If I lay it on top, it's not going to get it as nicely. So I'm going to lay it so that the clay takes the form on the inside. So I'm going to lay it so that it's flat side down. I'm going to open my hand as far, spread my fingers out as far as I can, and I'm going to slide this cloth onto my hand so that the clay is underneath. My hand is underneath the clay. I hold onto the mask and I flip it over. Now I'm going to remove the cloth, set it down, and now I'm going to kind of lift a little bit and push down so that it goes into the mold. And this is a lot of clay to get to move, so I'm going to have to get it to move quite a bit. So I just kind of lift a little bit and push down in there. Lift and push a little bit. You gotta be careful not to let it rip, because if it rips, you won't have much of your to fill in your mold. Now I'm gonna keep pushing till it goes to the bottom. The inside of the mask. Then where the nose is, I'm going to push that through because I want it to fill in that nose. So I kind of get an idea where that nose is, and I keep pushing without hopefully ripping the clay. Just push deep enough so it'll take that form. You can easily add to this. I'm going to push the lips through and the chin. The nose, the lips should be just underneath, the chin, and then the eyes. I'm going to find those, push those. The deeper you push, the more likely they are to show up. Okay, so now I have all my facial features indented that I want. If you don't want them, then don't push them in all the way. Now I'm going to grab some newspaper. I have it in a box in the middle section of the room. And I'm going to make enough a ball to fill in my mold here, or it's going to go flat. And then I won't have that nice form that I just used. I'll have a flat project. So I'm just going to ball up some newspaper. So there's one piece. It comes close to fitting, but I'm going to make it, I'm not quite where I want it, so I'm going to add some more here. A little more. I want it to hold that form really well. So I want that to get filled in. Now you can see that fills up pretty well. And now I gotta get a board to store this on. Boards are also in the middle section of the room. Here's my board. There's a white side and a dark side. You want to use the white side for this. If it's a little dirty, you can clean it off. It has some clay on it. Make sure that all goes in the trash, whatever you clean off. If you need to, you can use this tool. Scrape it off. And when you are done with this board, out of respect to the next person, unlike the person that had this before you, clean it off, please. Okay, so now I'm going to take that white side, lay it up against my mask. I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to remove my mold, and there is my mask. You can see the eyes, the nose, and the mouth.